get comfortable. Hey stars, what is good? Thank you so much for once again stopping back by. I really do hope that you're going to enjoy today's sit down boss babe video so that you can keep coming back for more. In today's video, we are talking about a topic that I don't know if you guys are going to find interesting, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. A part of me was like, maybe I should just make this video like in a vlog. I should talk about this in a vlog. I feel like it's very important for me to share this because I feel like somewhere along the line, if it doesn't help you today or now, it's gonna help you one day. It's gonna help you when the time comes, or maybe not help per se, because honestly this is just my opinion, my perspective, my review. Take it or leave it, use it or not, it's completely up to you. Or like, it's completely fine even if you hear what I want to talk about and I'm just like, oh, not interested. It's completely fine. But I do feel like it's something I want to share, man, because it's a personal experience to me. So yeah, so I was contemplating, should I put this talk or this subject matter within a vlog and just briefly browse through it and just talk and run through it and just give my opinion, or should I make an entire sit down video? And a part of me was like, nah, I don't want to ramble too long in my vlogs. I already talk too much generally in my vlogs, so I don't want to do that. Interesting, because I was like, no, let me just make it a separate video so that you click on it intentionally. You see the title, and if it's something you want to listen to, you click on it. So today we're talking about sending a Black African child to an Afrikaans school. If that is something you're interested in watching, do keep watching this video till the end. Don't forget to like, to comment, and subscribe. Let's jump straight into the video. So for those who don't know, I went to an Afrikaans school in Durban. I will name the school because I don't think it's like, I went to Durban North College, starting from grade 9 to matric. I had a very good childhood at home, in school, at church. I just had I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything. Like, I lived. And even the things that I thought were not good or were abusing me, okay, maybe abuse is too much of a big word, but like, even the things that I thought were not so cool. So I had super strict parents. I wouldn't go out as much as the other kids. I wouldn't do as I pleased, ne? So at that time, I thought it was, oh my gosh, the ghetto. Like, I hated it so much. But see, looking back now, having grown much older now, and I look back and I'm like, damn, those things don't matter. Besides all of that, I had an amazing childhood. My parents did a very good job. Or should I design some man? Yes, period. Anyway, yeah, so fairly, I'm not, this video is by far no means of bashing my high school or talking ill on it. No, I enjoyed it. But looking back now and reviewing everything, I would never ever allow my child to study Afrikaans, or let alone go to an Afrikaans school. Again, from a personal point of view, personal standpoint, again, this is my personal opinion, my personal story. I would never send my child to an Afrikaans school, and I'll state the reasons why. But I'm not saying it's bad, or people who send their kids to Afrikaans schools are not parenting well. Like, I'm not by far like making this video go to that point or give that point of perspective. It's just what I went through as the child that was in the situation. So I'm gonna give you guys like a little background. So I went to Clarence Primary School, which was like a normal primary school, and I studied English, and of course I studied English. I studied isiZulu as well as Afrikaans. This was fine. I studied Afrikaans, not that I cared much about it, but I studied it because I didn't have a choice. Okay, high school happened, grade 8, I went to Sacred Heart when I got to Sacred Heart, it was a boarding school, an all-girls boarding school. I stayed there for only 3 months, and then I was out of there. I got there, I was studying Zulu sharp. Very there was no Afrikaans there. It's called Samaroma, like it was a Catholic school, so there was no Afrikaans there. Sharp, I stayed there for 3 months, and then I was out. Then I went to Avonfort Secondary, which was a school in Phoenix that had no Afrikaans, so predominantly it was Zulu. I was happy. Then grade 9 came, and then my parents were like, okay babes, so I went to Avonfort Secondary because I went to Avonfort Secondary because remember I left Sacred Heart in the middle of the year, like in the middle of the term, 3 months in, and there was no school that my parents would have preferred to take me to that had iskala. So I just went to any school that had a space for me. And Bella Avonfort was like, yes babe, you can come through. And then I came through. Oh, I had the best time there. I absolutely loved. What did I like about that school? To be honest, I liked the freeness in that school. I liked the rebelness in that school. Rebelness in the sense of like it was something I had never seen before. Like I had never seen where if grounding. I was like so new to that. I had never seen a school that has so many fights. Every Friday there was a fight. Not even Friday, like I had never seen a school that was like you could wear different color socks. You could carry like a different color, like corner parts yellow, corner parts pinky, corner parts J. Obviously at the time to me it was new. At the time to me it was fascinating. At the time, I had never been to a school like Shawai. That was another thing. I was like, but then when it comes to that, so my dad, when the year was started, 4 months in, because I came there on the 4th month, my dad came to the school and was like, listen, no one is gonna hit my daughter on her face. You can hit her anywhere else because I akahlukile nezinye ingane makushawa nje induka ithele bona umuntu kodwa hayi ebusweni. So I was that kid ke ukuthi nje akashawa ebusweni because baba wakhe washo kahle ukuthi lalela ke eyami ingane ayithintwa nje ebusweni. So yes, kwakushawa, and othisha balapha beshana ngempama, like they would slap you and it wouldn't be anyone's business. But then I was never slapped, so I was always like, you know, the rotten egg, the smart girl who just came from and then okay, I had a good time there. My parents were like, no, this school is not what we deem ideal for you, because of all the things that I've just mentioned, that at the time I would find very exciting. Like to me it was so cool. I cried so much when I left that school. And then I went to Durban North College, which is a pure Afrikaans school. So in that, Durban North College is the translation of Durban North College, which is the actual name of the school. Well, they're both the names of the school, but it's a predominantly Afrikaans school. It starts from like 3 months to matric, where there's absolutely no Zulu. The assembly is done in Afrikaans and then translated to English. Like it's Amapun, it's just Afrikaans. There's like I think in total in my grade, I had in the entire grade, so not in my class, in the entire grade, each grade had about like 3 classes. In the entire grade, I've never had more than 10 black people in the entire grade. That means that in my own class, 10 cool. Like 8 in the entire grade. So that means that in my class there would only be, in fact I can count, I'm not going to mention their names, that's about 4. There was only 4 black people. It was just 4 black girls, literally. So I think that kind of sets up, you know, what the aesthetic of the environment looked like. You'd hear Afrikaans like 90% of the time when you're in school. In the corridors, it was Afrikaans. Yes, we were taught in English, but I'll give you I was taught in English because I was in the English class. So we would have all the A classes, so grade 8A, grade 9A, those are the Afrikaans classes. Those were like strictly the Afrikaans class. And then the other grades were the English Afrikaans classes. I'm saying English Afrikaans because there were classes where we would mix with the pure Afrikaans kids, so the kids that take Afrikaans as home language. So the Afrikaans home language and the Afrikaans first additional language would combine classes, and that lesson 70% of it would be taught in Afrikaans, and then you just read your textbook. This is the English part, right? So yeah, so that was school for me. But because at the time I saw nothing wrong, I enjoyed it. I played sports. It was normal. Absolutely loved Afrikaans. No, absolutely loved my school. But looking back now, oh my God. Again, I don't blame my parents for any of this. They did what they think was best for me at the time. They took me to one of the best schools they could afford. They did the best they can. I'm not even sitting here and saying, oh, mom and dad, why did you do this? You should have known better. No. That's why they did exactly what was best for me according to the best of their ability. But now that I'm old, now that I'm looking back, now that I am in a position where we're the adults, we are the adults now, we are becoming the mothers now, we are becoming the fathers now. Like, guys, so now it's us that are going to have to make such decisions, which is why I said I'm making this video, because I think to someone, maybe not now, it is going to be useful. So one day when you need to pick a school for your child, you're going to think it's because of with and then you're going to make a decision based on an informative perspective, because you would have heard from someone who went through the decision, which is me, who went through the journey of studying at an Afrikaans school, which is me, right? So looking back now, the reason why I feel like I would never take my kid to an Afrikaans school is because there's no other better way to put it. Why should I strip my own mother tongue and take them to an Afrikaans school? Guys, it was so much work. It was so much unnecessary work, because I get home, ngikhuluma isiZulu. I get to school, ngikhuluma isiNgisi. But I get to the Afrikaans class and I have to write an entire damn Afrikaans I have to write an entire essay in Afrikaans, because that's what I'm going to get tested on. Mind you, it's a foreign language to me. I had to learn this. I had to learn this with no choice. I had to learn this out of nowhere. I had to learn this with the fight to pass. Mind you, Afrikaans is a language, so you need to pass a language. You can't fail a language. If you fail a language, I think you repeat. Is that so? Yeah, I think the curriculum in South Africa is like that. You can't fail a language. So do you understand the pressure? Do you understand the trauma? Do you understand the force? I had to make sure that I get this thing right, even if I'm just making it by, even if I'm just scraping by, I'm just meeting the pathway mark, just so that I can get through. It was so traumatizing. I hated every minute of going to the Afrikaans class, because for me, it was like, it was hard. It's not easy learning a language that is foreign to you, and you just have to learn it because you have no choice. I feel like it's something different if I'm saying, oh no, I want to learn Mandarin, I want to learn how to speak Chinese, because that's a choice. That's something I'm going to do, enjoy. But to have it forced down on you, oh my gosh. So for me, going through high school was very traumatic for that experience. You will see I had to learn it the hard way, because unfortunately that's exactly what I was going to get tested on. I went by ngokrema, like ukreme, you know that it's obviously paper 1, paper 2, paper 3 in languages, and you know you're going to screw up paper 1 because you don't understand half the things that are written. You can understand some, but you don't understand the entire paper. Like you can't even read the instruction. Some you can, some you can't, because nobody really knows what's going to come out a paper. You understand? So your teachers prepare you for as much as they can, but there's this logic of reading that you just need to understand and be able to do in order to answer anything effectively. And you can't even read. You don't even know if babati circle or underline. Awaz the babati. Aibo. I think you guys get what I mean. And then paper 2, at least paper 2 was poetries and stories, and poetry and like what's this, comprehension. So at least that was better, because you'd just look for a similarity in the sentence and you'd look for the similarity in the story. It was okay, so they're asking about this word, and you'd look for the word and you'd be like, okay, definitely this is the answer. So yo guys, that's how I studied. That's how Black kids made it by when it comes to studying Afrikaans. At least in paper 3 it was more of like storytelling, so I would cram an entire essay. So if there's a picture of the beach, I would tell my holiday story. That's how we went by. Whereas I feel like even though I'd never studied Zulu, being find it because it's my mother tongue, there was no way I was gonna fail Zulu. There was no way I was just gonna pass Zulu first additional language, because it's my mother tongue. I may not know everything, but at least I'm able to understand what the question requires of me. You can't not be able to read your mother tongue, right? But for me, I was not able to, because it was stripped away from me. I was never given the opportunity to read my mother tongue. Fast forward, okay, I went through, by God's grace, I passed. And mind you, again, at the time, this wasn't a problem. I didn't mind cramming. At the time, I didn't see that this was being such a traumatic experience to me. At the time, it was fine. I was doing what I had to do, because that was just the way of life. And again, I go back to the point in which I don't blame my parents for making the decisions that they did, because they grew up in a time where they grew up in apartheid time. They were studying Afrikaans. My dad speaks almost fluent Afrikaans, right? Because that's the era, the apartheid era that he grew up in. So just because now he spoke fluent Afrikaans, he thought it was okay that his precious daughter goes to an Afrikaans school. She's gonna make it, right? Because I made it as well. So I think most of their decision came from that. Fast forward, now I'm an adult, and as a cooler, you get to a point where you start taking pride in your own language. I started taking pride in being a Zulu girl. I started going outside, going to university, not even outside, going to university. Now, when you get to university, uhlangana with different dynamics. Kids that went to the deep rural school, so they speak solid Zulu, they speak Zulu sabo sihle. You meet the kids that went to the Indian schools, like the one that I went to in Phoenix. They speak nice Zulu, but they speak it with, a bit of a not so depth understanding. Like you get to see a variety, and you start seeing that, damn, my language is so rich. And then all of a sudden, speaking good English is no longer appealing. It's no longer superior. Like, it's almost as if you can't honestly be proud if you speak nice English, but you can't speak proper Zulu. Like, kodum Zulu. You start getting to that point where it's like, especially for me, I studied drama. I studied something that requires me to speak a lot. I studied a career that demands Zulu. So, because obviously now when you watch television shows, there's Zulu, especially if you like me, from KZN. Most of the time they'll want a KZN Zulu speaking girl. And here you are, you can't even read an audition piece in Zulu. And that's exactly what I am still battling with till today. I had to teach myself how to read Zulu. I speak Zulu very well, but I couldn't read it to save my life. I couldn't write. I'm saying couldn't because I look at how much progress I've made, and I say to myself, I may not be able to read Zulu as fluent as I'm able to read English. I may not be able to write Zulu as great as I write English, but and all that was self-taught when I got to university, and I was like, no babes, this is not cool. You can't be a Zulu girl and so all of that was self-taught. And I looked back and I said, Yazi, I'm not putting blame on anyone, but had I went and studied Zulu as a second edition language, I wouldn't be facing the problems that I'm facing now. Fortunately and unfortunately for me, part of the works that I do is I work for SAPC. You guys know UKOS, if I'm being precise. There's work that I do for UKOS. So UKOS is predominantly a Zulu station. When I tell you that me getting that job was umusa nje kaNkulunkulu. Umusa kaNkulunkulu ingoba icebo laNkulunkulu njalo nakumiswa. umuntu alinakumisa ukuthi wena unjani, ufunde phi, yini oyaziyo, yini ongayazi, uzalo ubani, wenza maphi ama decisions ngawo. Icebo laNkulunkulu nje alinakumiswa. That's the only way I got the job, because me ngibhala isiZulu, ngifunda isiZulu, mina bani. And I think that this story to me is so sentimental, because I've been able to get into places Zulu that I never thought I was good enough in. I remember when I went to that job interview, I obviously got the call, and I was like, I was super excited. And then I get there, and then I get the script. It's Zulu. Mina. Guys, I panic. That's how deep it is. And it shouldn't be like that. I go right. It is like that, but I go right. Hence why I say my kids would never go through what I went through, because I don't think there is a need. Because there's no Afrikaans person that goes and studies Zulu that will go through and to the extent of studying Zulu as a language. So why should we? It got to a point where I noticed I'm so resentful when it comes to Afrikaners. It's like they did something bad to me, whereas I'm the one that put myself in that situation. I grew up in a democratic era where I had the choice to go anyway, and I still chose to go to their school. So, yeah, just a lot of traumatic experiences happened, but more than anything, I feel like it is unnecessary and it's not something to be proud of. When it comes to racism, in my school, I don't want to lie and say it was bad. It wasn't bad. It wasn't obvious. But again, I don't want to associate racism with going to an Afrikaans school, because I feel like where there's different races, you'll always feel that. So it doesn't matter if you're in an Afrikaans school or you're in a room full of Afrikaners or Indians or black people. If you're in a room full of black people and you're not black, you're obviously going to feel, some type of... So I don't want to put the racism card and say, oh, my school was racist. Oh, my school was... Especially because I don't have a particular incident where I was like, oh, maybe I don't remember. I'm not saying there wasn't, and I'm not saying my school wasn't racist. I'm just saying I can't recall, and I don't think racism... I thought racism was one, and I don't think racism is attached to it being an Afrikaans school. Right? But it guys know, guys ngabahambisa abantwana benu to an Afrikaans school, asikho isidingo, and you really strip them of their mother tongue. And our mother tongue is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It is so rich. And now that I have the ability to make my own choices, fortunately for me, I'm a writer, right? So I spend a lot of time with writers, older writers. I get fascinated with Izaka. And I'm like, oh, what does that mean? Literally, because I'm always asking, what does that mean? And then, the history, I'm just like, damn, it is so rich how every single metaphor, what is Izaka in English? I get so excited when I don't know what something means in English and I know it in Zulu. It's like, oh my God. Like the fact that I'm saying, what is Izaka in, I think it's a metaphor. I don't know, and I'm glad I don't know. The depth and the richness of our language is insane, and how every single Isaka has a backstory with oh my gosh, let me make an example. So I didn't know what it means, for instance. Like, to you it might be very light, like to you it might be like, oh, that's so basic. To me it's not. To me, it's not basic, because intengiyaze manje sengimdala angikhulanga ngavele ngayazi. So when I found out ukuthi Isaka, it means mengabe mhlambe kukhulelwa ingane yentombazane endaweni, so wena mama uzala ingane yentombazane yasakhulelwa endaweni, baba bakuleyo ndawo would be so mad at you, babehamba bechamela inyama, and then leyo nyama niyiwashe niyidle futhi niyidle lemnyango. So it was like a disgrace ukuthi ingane ikhulelwa kanjani nikhona nomama niyigadile. So every time iZulu like makushisa manje and then ngiqala ukunetha kuthiwa hey libafazi beduba inyama because mama would eat leyo nyama behlinile becasukile, you know, beyiduba. They would be angry because ayakho umuntu othanda ukudla inyama echanyeliwe. So when I found it's things like that, I'm like, and to think things like that used to happen for real, as much as I didn't grow up in an era where I was going to be there to witness it, but I think a child that was given an opportunity to their own language, is like, I have a friend, her name is Zava. She knows it's Tagazela for every single surname. Like, I remember every time I would be with someone new, I'd be like, Zamatin is Tagazela, I'm your Tagazela. I don't know, those was like my dictionary, and I'm like, I find it so fascinating. Like, I find it so, I'm like, but anyway, yeah, I don't want to make this video too long. I'm rambling now, but that is my story when it comes to why I don't think us African black kids should be taken to Afrikaans schools, because honestly it's unnecessary. That era of forced Afrikaans, it's over. Let's move on from it. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys found this video interesting. I'll see you guys on my next one, but for now you definitely are a star. Bye.